respected principal, Ms. Shanti Badrinarayan, teachers, staff, parents, and my dear children. I think this is like the first time I've ever been not able to tell no for being a chief guest, something that I really do not like, because I think either parents or children are not really interested to listen to what people want to say. Despite that, I think with Sita putting pressure on me, I just said, fine, let me try and share some thoughts that I have, some concerns in the field of education that I thought I'll put forth to them. Tryst with Destiny, the midnight speech of Jawaharlal Nehru on the eve of India's independence, was perhaps a speech full of ideals, ambitions to inspire the nation. What I try to do is, what aspects of that speech I think become relevant today when one is actually reflecting on what Jawaharlal Nehru tried to say. What strikes most is the simple idea that freedom and power brings responsibility. And I think that is something that is very hard for us to realize. And so, I quote, we have to labor and to work hard to give reality to our dreams. Those dreams are for India, but they are not only for India, but they are also for the world. For all the nations and people are too closely knit together today for any one of them to imagine that they can really live apart. So I think it's extremely important for us to understand that in today's world, the geographical boundaries are fast disappearing. We are in a world where we have to interact with people from not only within the country, but also with people outside the country. So I think the theme today, which the school has chosen, international mindedness, is an extremely important theme. I think today we no longer have to get into the feeling that we are national, we are Indians. I think it's more important to see that we create a world where all countries are able to live, we are able to tolerate each other, we are able to appreciate what each country and each individual has to offer. Because my firm belief is every individual in this world is able to contribute to the development of the world. It is only our ability to be able to identify what potentials each individual has so that we are able to contribute to the development of the world. In terms of the theme of international mindedness, for me, I think what I want to flag off is 2 or 3 ideas in terms of how unity amidst diversity is extremely important. For example, if you want to really look at the whole question of the environment, today's sustainable development is an important theme. We can no longer realize and think of living in a world that has the predominance of one species over the other. In our attempt to actually look at development of the nation, how do we balance the nature's growth along with accommodating what we think is development for people? I think that is a very important idea. One needs to also look at diversity of teachers and parents. I think all of us are very different. I think the world today would have been an extremely boring place to live in if we were all the same. So each one of us brings a certain element of strength into what we are doing. And I think we need to appreciate what diversity is there among teachers. A teacher, for example, may not be extremely competent if you are relatively comparing that teacher with another teacher of a particular school. But that teacher may have strength in terms of interactions and interrelationship that the teacher has with students. So one needs to appreciate that. There would be a teacher who may be extremely good in relation to the subject that she or he is teaching. But it's more important that how does this teacher also is able to communicate the same? Because the skills of communication, the content knowledge, the ability to interact with children, and more importantly with parents in today's world is extremely different among different teachers. So schools cannot look at cloning teachers of a certain kind. Now parents look for teachers who have been extremely good, perhaps in one grade, to expect the same kind of teacher across the grades. So I think it is important to understand that you have diverse abilities across teachers, and what is that we can do in terms of making the best out of the abilities that you have as teachers. That is one aspect. I think this also comes, if one sort of extends this argument, one can also look at parents. Parents are extremely diverse. Here in this gathering, I'm sure there are parents who think that children should perform. There are parents who put pressure on children to want to perform so that the child is actually at the top. But you have parents who are also extremely relaxed. They think that today the world outside there has huge opportunities, and if the child is able to do something that the child enjoys doing, then you're quite happy. So you cannot do this comparison, because I find that extremely difficult, because the general conversation among parents is, what is the grade of my child vis-a-vis your child? What is the opportunity that my child got vis-a-vis your child? How is that we are not able to take happiness in opportunities given to other children? They may not be our own children. So how can we actually build a community of parents where we are able to sort of look at aspects of actually sharing resources, looking at the world of children as one whole group, and not basically looking at our own children and trying to make the I extremely prominent. The important aspect, I think, for both parents and children and for us as adults and individuals is to move away from the I aspect to look at the we aspect, because I think that is the only way that we will be able to grow, and I think that is a very important dimension. Lastly, but not the least, is the diversity of children. Children come with varying capabilities. A child who is not good in math may be extremely good in music, may be good in sports, would have certain other abilities that neither the formal school system is able to recognize or provide the kind of opportunities. So it's extremely important for parents and teachers to work together to provide the right kind of environment for the child to develop the abilities that the child has. And in this context, I would really like to sort of share my own view of what I think a teacher and perhaps what an ideal parent should be. It's extremely difficult to be that. It's easy to stand on the podium and say that this is how it should be. But I think as a parent, I don't think I have really measured up to where perhaps I would have wanted to measure up, despite being continuously conscious that this is where I want to go. Because I think it's important to see that children are very different, and as parents and as teachers, we should be able to reach out to children of varying abilities. I think that is what a good teacher is. A good teacher is not a teacher who can do teaching for the average set of students. A good teacher is able, I think a teacher comes into the classroom and goes back feeling good that every child in my class has gained something after I have actually interacted with the child. I think the same holds for parents, because all our children are not of the same ability. And this is the greatest, the greatest puzzle that we have. Despite children coming from the same household, despite giving the same environment, putting them through the same school, giving them the same peer group in terms of your friends and their friends, in terms of qualities, you have child 1 doing differently from child 2. I think as parents we should be able to take this difference in our stride and see what is best for each child vis-a-vis the child's potential. And I think the gifted education program that actually I have launched at the National Institute of Advanced Studies is basically to look at that segment of children who are perhaps the most ignored in the formal education system. Today the education system is by and large geared towards the average child. At best, a teacher would be willing to look at a child who has a learning disability, who is not able to measure up, because schools are always preoccupied with results. I would be very happy if I say all the children who pass out of my school is a 95% person. So the whole gearing of the entire education system is towards that final board exam and those kind of marks. So you try to sort of pick children who are at the lower end. What happens to children who are of higher ability? It is the notion of the teachers and the formal education system that children who measure up much beyond their age peers are capable of looking after themselves. My plea is they are not capable of looking after themselves. They require as much help if not more, in terms of being able to be engaged and to be able to actually harness the potential that they have. And that group of children are those children who would really contribute to national development. If we do not have a formal program for these children, because even today when we are talking of the fundamental right to education, you don't include the gifted children. So when I talk of the gifted children, I'm talking of the high ability children as part of your group. Why is that the right of that child not realized? Why is that? Because I am extremely capable than other normal children, that my right cannot be realized. It is extremely important for school systems, the education system, teachers and parents to understand that these children also have needs. They also have problems around not being part of the normal group. They feel alienated. They don't feel part of the group of children that they are with. And I think parents and teachers need to play a very important role. I always tell parents who come to me to talk about their children who are of high ability, I always tell them that since we do not have a formal mechanism of responding to the needs of these high ability children, the onus is largely on parents. And parents are a great resource in terms of them being able to network and share resources. Because all of us do not go and actually invent the wheel. Every parent is trying their best to try and give the maximum resources for your children so that your child grows beyond what the actual school program is able to do. But if these set of parents actually get together and share resources through platforms, technology platforms, I think it will be a huge resource creation that you can do for the country. And I think Silver Oaks can really take a lead to try and see if you all can put something like this in place. I think it's extremely important. So I think diversity of children and children being the center of all attention today, I think it's extremely important. We have to relook at the education system and see what we can do. Having said this, I'd like to sort of flag off a couple of other ideas that sort of come to my mind when I think about children and education in this country.